Hello and welcome to Connected, episode 615. It's made possible by our sponsors, Squarespace, Backblaze, and RevenueCat. I am your annual chairman, Stephen Hackett, and I am joined by man of the people, Myke Hurley.
Oh, hello. I have the pleasure of introducing not the Constant, as he was known, because the Constant's not here. It is, in fact, the draft champion, Jason Snell. The upgrade draft champion, Jason Snell. Hi, Jason.
Hi, thank you for introducing me with my title, and it's a pleasure to be back on the Connected program. It's great. I haven't talked to Myke this week, Stephen, because he was flying when we did Upgrade on Monday. So it's nice to thanks for sharing Myke with me.
Yeah. Let me tell you the temptation I had to get over to not put earnings talk in this episode. Like the urge.
We'll just talk later offline. We can just have a nice talk, and you can show me some charts, and we'll be fine.
I said to Jason, I was listening to Upgrade, and I had that rare feeling of feeling like I needed to talk to him and Dan about what they were talking about.
Yes.
So it took a lot from me not to put that conversation into the show, but we're not here to talk about that.
We are not. We got lots of other things to talk about, but we're going to start with some Snell talk.
Okay.
I stole this from your feedback form in the CMS.
Wow. Wow. He's just okay.
Outrageous.
Jack asks, does Jason miss 3D touch?
Jack, I don't even a little. I never used it after I tested it for when it came out. And I like the idea of kind of a right click for touch, but it turns out tap and hold is that. And it was completely undiscoverable. And even I knew it was there and I never used it because I just didn't even think about it. So it's a nice idea. I do wonder a little bit if we should throw this into the list along with the touch bar as things where the hardware people are like, oh man, we can do this thing where you press harder and we can sense it. And then the software people were like, nah, we're not that excited about it.
Sounds like the touch bar a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is I wonder if this is like that, where there was a real disconnect between the enthusiasm of hardware people to build cool hardware and the software people just kind of were not believers. But regardless, it just kind of tap and hold. Like when they took it out and it was just tap and hold, I literally forgot that they took it out. Somebody had to remind me, it used to be 3D touch. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess. Because just tap and hold seems much more natural.
Peek and pop, baby. Do you remember Peek and pop?
Yeah.
I miss Peek and pop. I mean, a lot of apps still use it. And the main use of it remains, which is being able to preview an iMessage without opening it. Mm-hmm. So you don't mark it as read. And I do that to everyone, including both of you all the time.
Wow. How dare you?
But it's just the thing that sometimes I just want to know what you say, but I haven't got the time to deal with it, and so then I don't leave you on red. No one wants to be left on red.
Yeah,
because I am a read receipts person. I think that is the fair thing to do with your friends. So, if you would like to send in a Snell talk of your own, just go to upgradefeedback.com and
then Stephen will read it. I guess
Stephen will steal it. So look forward to that in the future.
He's peeping in there. He's peeping in our comment form, Myke.
I know, it's terrible. He's always doing that. Stephen does this, and I get it. It's he gets admin privilege, but you upload something to that CMS. If he wants it, he'll just download it.
Oh,
he
yeah.
Doesn't care.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't care.
Oh, yeah. More than that, I have access to the Design to California Slack channel. And at some point, Jim put a rough edit, and I was like, should I listen to that? But I restrained myself.
Well, you don't have the Dropbox, so...
Not yet.
Can't get all up in our file.
Stephen,
no.
Did you know that I have some admin privileges to the Relay site, and I think I can post blog posts?
Oh God. Excuse me 1 second.
No.
Let the man blog.
User.
You need me in there because if I see a typo, I can just fix it.
I hate that you do that, both of you, by the way.
Oh, I do it all the time.
I don't want people going in and changing my stuff. Just leave it alone. It's not yours.
Oh yeah, Jason, you're a full admin in the CMS. Oh, yeah. That's fine.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to create. We created the Design in California show in the CMS yesterday, and I had a moment where I was clicking around, I should be able to just create this, can't I? And new show. I guess I could have done it.
Yeah,
it's right there.
But I did it.
Thanks,
Although
Myke.
so much needs to be
Procedure.
done to this page, even though it does exist. But it's coming, gang. It's on the way.
Yeah.
Sometime soon.
We're working on it.
Follow up.
Very hard.
Follow up. Google Health, the application you need for the Fitbit Air, now syncs data to Apple Health and HealthKit. So it went the other way, right? Where the Google Health app would slurp up your Apple Health data. Now it's bi-directional. Zach Call at 9 to 5 reported on this, and it seems to include sleep data, steps, workouts, and vitals. And in my brief time with it, it seems to basically do what it's supposed to do. And this is what I want out of really any third-party tracker, especially Google Health, because that app is pretty bad, and I don't want to interact with it. And so they finally got this going. A friend of mine who is, let's just say, well acquainted with Apple's health initiatives, sent me a blog post from like 2018 or something. Someone had written a Google Fitbit at the time was like, yeah, we're not going to deal with HealthKit. Like, well, times change, baby.
So just to like check what's happening here. So now you're a Fitbit Air. That's what it's called, right?
Yes.
Fitbit Air. Yeah. Well, if you're wearing it, it's going to sync its information to the Google Health app, which then will sync that to Apple Health.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you seen this happening?
Yeah. I mean, it seems to do it. Again, I didn't have a ton of time with this, but it seems.
Are you
to
wearing an Apple Watch at the same time?
Currently, no.
Okay. Because I wonder what happens. You know?
No, I've been wearing a G-Shock for like a month.
Amazing. Because when I was whooping, when I had the Whoop band, I had to turn a bunch of stuff off because I was wearing the Whoop and the Apple Watch.
Oh,
and then my step count like quintupled almost.
Right.
It was ridiculous. It was just like
suddenly
you
like
I was running
thought you were a
marathons.
horse.
I guess.
It's a lot of steps.
It was a nightmare.
4 legs.
I had to turn a bunch of stuff off. Because I don't actually think it was double, which was the funny thing. And that was like with the very weird way that these things count. It was not good.
Yeah.
And so you have to be careful with that if you do use multiple. But probably you shouldn't use multiple.
And I do have the Garmin one on order, but it is not shipped yet.
Yes. So what is that? It is one of these, but with no subscription. Is that correct?
No subscription. People were mad because there was some heart rate tracking stuff that they were going to put in the subscription, and then they've said, no, that will be free for everybody.
Oh, wait. So there is a subscription?
Yes, but it's very specific things that most... I don't think
optional.
Yeah, I don't think most people will need. And the Fitbit Air, to be clear, you can use it without a subscription. The big thing the subscription gets you is like the Google Health AI coach, which just vomits paragraphs of LLM text all over the user interface. It's not super useful.
Hey, people like that.
Do they? Do people want to read paragraphs of text?
I've heard people are really into it.
I don't
know.
That's good. We have some long-term follow-up here from listener Steve, who sent in follow-up like a year and a half ago about AirPods translation, and then just sent a note this past week saying, I tried AirPods live translation on a trip to Spain last year. Timely, Steve. My partner and I joined a brewery tour that was entirely in Spanish, so I put my AirPods in as an experiment. I followed the guide's story reasonably well, though Siri's tone couldn't capture his genuine excitement. The real problem was latency. I was 15 to 20 seconds behind. By the time he asked if anyone wanted more beer, I was still laughing at an earlier joke, so he thought I wanted a refill. I accepted anyway.
It must have looked really weird if you're continuing to laugh.
Yeah.
Like everyone else has stopped and you're like, ha, ha, ha.
Maybe don't offer him any more beer at that point.
What is this guy doing? Yeah, okay. I mean, like, I don't know how you solve that, right? Like, I guess there's just like maybe more advanced on-device models can speed that up, but I don't know how much latency. I mean, I guess you could get pretty close to it, but yeah, interesting. All right.
Have you guys used the live translation stuff?
Not me.
No. The only time really that I would have to use this is if they had Romanian, which they don't, and I understand why they don't. But I do wonder if large language models should make this kind of like expansion faster, like 2 more obscure languages. Like, give me something rather than nothing, I feel like, but I don't think they're ever going to support Romanian.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
This feels awkward to me. I think I would only use it if I felt like really kind of at sea. Like if I was in a country where everybody spoke that language and I didn't, and I needed to understand what was going on, I would try it. But I haven't been in one of those in a while. So, and I'm not going to do it like, like the guy who was trying to fix my sprinklers the other week was, it doesn't speak English very well at all. If at all, he's very quiet. And I'm not going to do that. Right. I'm not going to say, hey, let's try this out.
The Google Translate deal, like you're just writing stuff and showing it to each other. Like I feel like that people do that more and more. Like I've done that.
Yeah, sure. The translation app on iOS, I've used that in that way. Or in iMessage, even you can use it, which is pretty cool.
Good news for CarPlay enthusiasts. It's coming to boats.
Boat play, baby!
Boat play.
It's not CarPlay when it's on a boat.
Why? It's not a car. It's a boat.
So it shouldn't have it. That's what I think. Keep your CarPlay out of my boats. That's what I say.
Yeah, CarPlay out of boats. Hashtag CarPlay out of boats.
This is my stance.
Well, I was going to buy this yacht, but it just has Android Auto. So
yeah, exactly. I don't want but again, don't put Android Auto on a boat either.
Android Boto.
All right, I need someone to explain to me why this is useful.
I got you. So Mastercraft is a company. They make lots of boats and own boat brands and stuff. They're adding CarPlay to some pontoon boats. Pontoon boats are generally, like, they're not, you can use them for fishing, but they are primarily used for like family outings or parties or that sort of thing. Like big, wide, flat boat.
Party boats.
And more and more over the years, boats have had increasingly good like audio video systems. Like to a point where if you have like a ski boat, you have like giant arrays of speakers pointing backwards so the person skiing can ski along to AC/DC or whatever. But the interfaces for those have been pretty bad. Like it's like a little Bluetooth box, or it's aux in, or it's some proprietary nonsense. And now it's just CarPlay, which lots of people know and love. And they are putting, or they're working with a company called, and I promise you this is their name, Savvy Navi, to bring on-water navigation to CarPlay.
Okay. Because my question was going to be, like, in this screenshot here on 9 to 5, it's like, well, that can't be Apple Maps because they don't have boat
mode.
boating
no, Savvy
information.
Navi, if you go to their website at savvy-navi.com, the big headline is...
Could they not get it without the dash, do you think?
I don't know. It's like Google Maps for boats. That's their slogan. It's like Google Maps for boats, for boats.
Savvy Navi, no space, is parked. But it's easier to parse with a dash in it. So
I agree.
Today I tried to register a domain name and was annoyed that it was taken and couldn't believe it, and it was taken by me.
Oh my gosh.
So there we go. That's where I am.
That's
so I was like, how did somebody get that domain? And the person who got that domain was me.
That's hilarious.
I've tried to register it through Hover and it asked to make an offer. Can you imagine if I would have made an offer to myself to buy the domain name? That would have been incredible stuff. I wish I would have pressed that button now and not really thought about checking the next step.
Then you get an email and you're like, oh, that's a pretty good price. Maybe
Hang on a minute. I can sell that. Let's make a profit. So which one of you is going to test the boat out?
I have a friend with a pontoon boat, but obviously it's not. This has been added to like this. You got to buy a new pontoon boat with an infotainment system that then supports boat play. So I don't know.
Don't think you can get some kind of retrofit system like you've done with cars, Stephen? You could
sure. I mean, sure. I think people have been doing that. I would imagine.
Yeah.
This is what I would recommend: is get a kayak and get one of those in-dash third party non-OEM CarPlay units that you have to attach to like a battery via some like little wires. It'll be put some tape on it. The water won't be a problem. And then try
Stephen,
it out.
If only you still made YouTube videos,
I know.
This could be the thing for you. You could do this.
Yeah. But I have a canoe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You
there.
could do this, but you wouldn't.
Or I
Canoe play.
I could turn my pickup truck into a boat. I feel like a TV show did that a long time ago, but can't remember. As we have spoken about on the Pro Show for 8 weeks straight, Federico has been doing some Ethernet stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminded me that at one point Jason had Ethernet cables running across the roof of his house.
It's true.
Horribly upsetting. And I wanted to get an update on your wired networking situation.
Well, I've got great news. I had an electrician come out. We talked about this on Upgrade a little bit because my electrician's name is David. And when I asked him if he could also do Ethernet, he said, "Are you kidding? They call me Data Dave."
Oh, yeah. I remember Data Dave.
What? It's like, oh, you didn't know that about me?
I'm known. I'm legendary as Data Dave. And so he did it. So my house does not have an attic to speak of, a crawl space, a basement. It's a concrete slab, and there is an attic. To call it a crawl space would not even do it justice. It's at its highest point. It might be like you could wedge a small person in there, but like you might not get them back.
Yeah. It's a one-way trip.
It's not. So you can't do stuff like that. It would be an enormous undertaking to try to wire stuff in there. We discovered actually when we were trying to do some lighting and stuff in our living room that there's a beam that comes across the living room that completely blocks one side of the crawl space from the other, a support beam, because we thought we had blown insulation into this one crawl space. And then we opened up the other half from the garage and discovered it was like a time capsule from 1954 or whenever they built the house. It was pristine. There's nothing in it. It was completely untouched.
Creepy.
Because it was completely isolated from the rest of the house, which makes putting wires through it that much more complicated.
Yeah.
So the truth is, what did Data Dave do? Drilled a hole in my garage, ran 3 Ethernet cables out. They're tacked under the eaves. One goes into, or is it 3 or maybe one goes into the living room, which is not very far. One goes into the back bedroom, and one goes into Jamie's old bedroom, which we use as Studio B. And so I've got wired Ethernet going into all 3 bedrooms because there was already Ethernet going into the other bedroom, and the living room and the garage, which is where my fiber router is. So I have access to wired Ethernet. My house is not very big. These cable runs are not particularly long, but that means that I've got wired going in, and that replaces, Stephen, your favorite feature, which is I used to just have a 100-foot or whatever Ethernet cable that came out of the living room and went up onto the roof, across the roof, all the way to the back bedroom, down and in.
Yeah,
and that has been removed.
Good.
and trashed because there's solar panels and stuff up there now too. There's no place for that kind of thing up there. So,
sure.
That's the story. Is Data Dave took care of it. And so now I've got access to that. And do I take advantage of that? I don't know. I mean, my Apple TV has that, has access to that. The computer in the back can be on when I'm working back in the back bedroom or in Studio B. It's wired. It's a wired connection to out here where I've got the fiber. So it's fast and I can connect everything, without having to resort to the Wi-Fi. And then there's an Eero back there as well as out here. So I've got wired Eero. They don't have to talk to each other via radio. They can just be on the same wired network. I have had a weird thing happen lately, which is I have the Eero 7, the fancy big one.
Mm-hmm.
And what I discovered is that I have certain devices that struggle to see it in my driveway. I feel like there's something going on with it where it's not. I don't know. Some of my devices like struggle to see it, but the thing is, I have a second network that is in my fiber router that I have for a very stupid reason, which is that my washing machine couldn't connect to the Eero. It's a known problem.
What?
And so
What?
I know
You don't need your washing machine on the network, Jason.
What is the problem?
It's something with like the frequency of Wi-Fi or the standard of Wi-Fi that the Eero uses is too advanced for the washing machine. But fortunately,
I'm sure you did. But like I've had this problem with some Eero stuff. You can turn on like a temporary 2.4 gigahertz mode and connect it and it will latch on. I've had that before.
I don't know whether that would have worked, or maybe even I tried that. I don't know. I basically said there's a whole wireless router in the fiber router that I'm not using. So I turned it on and created a new network for it. And now I have several kind of smart home things that are in the front of the house or right outside that are all on that network instead, because I think it's dumber and older and slower, but that like a lot of smart home stuff is really happy to just be on the dumb, slow network and not on whatever the heck Eero's doing. So I've not yet crossed over into the Ubiquity realm like Steven, R.I.P. He's a Ubiquity guy now, but Casey got him.
It just seems like a lot of work, honestly.
It does. Well, and it's the classic. This is like an upgrade we were talking about how we heard from everybody who uses FileMaker. We heard from literally the entire FileMaker install base.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're like, how is FileMaker still around? And the answer is because once you build something and you invest years into it, the cost of keeping it up is a lot less than the cost of tearing it down and replacing it with something new. And I feel that way about like Eero and Ubiquity. It's like if I started from scratch now, I've seen Steven's dashboard. He showed it to us in Memphis. I saw all the little dots animating, showing where every single packet in his house was going. And I thought it was super cool too. I would absolutely do that today if I was starting from scratch, but I'm not. I've got a thing. It mostly works. And my washing machine connects to the other router and it's fine. It's fine.
Okay. So
that's it. I'm glad I could fulfill your talk about networking fix since Federico wasn't.
We'll be back next week talking about more Ethernet stuff.
Yeah, it's great. Get Data Dave. He needs a trip to Italy.
This episode of Connected is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one website platform designed to help you stand out and succeed online. One of my favorite things about Squarespace is how comprehensive it is. You can get a domain name, you can handle all your DNS, you can grow your brand with things like newsletters, and you can get paid with invoicing. It's all built in, and it's all designed to work together. And the best part is all these tools scale with you. So if you're not really used to working on websites, and a lot of people aren't, they have really awesome drag and drop tools, awesome themes to get started. It's all really easy to work together and make something that looks like you, feels like your brand. But if you're more advanced, they have tools for you as well. And if you need to get in there and do custom CSS and inject code into the header, all that stuff is there. So you can start with something really simple and basic and let it grow with you. The same thing goes for features on your website. I mentioned invoices. Maybe you don't need those right now, but you might in the future. And instead of going out and finding them somewhere else, you can use them with Squarespace. So they inherit all your branding, all the analytics are there in Squarespace. It is really awesome how you can start something small and let it grow with you. So if you're ready to start, go to squarespace.com/connected for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use the offer code CONNECTED to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain name. That's squarespace.com/connected and the offer code CONNECTED for 10% off. My thanks to Squarespace for their support of the show and all of Relay.
I didn't think I wanted a new clipboard manager. It's not really a thing that I felt like I needed. I've been pretty happy with Raycast as a clipboard manager. I was using it before as my launcher before Spotlight got its upgrade, and I switched over to Spotlight, but there was a couple of things about the way that Apple implemented the clipboard manager that didn't really work for me. So I continued using Raycast, and I got very used to it. But then Pastebot 3 came out, and people seemed very excited about it. And I used to use Pastebot back in the day. Do you remember when Pastebot on the iPhone used to pretend it was a VoIP app? And it would stay constantly connected with the little blue bar at the top of your screen so you could send information backwards and forwards. That was a weird time to be alive. But this doesn't have... This is just Pastebot 3 for Mac. I wanted to try it out, and it solved two things for me immediately, and so now I've moved to Pastebot away from Raycast. So one of the main reasons that I use any clipboard manager, and what I was using Raycast for, is for copy and pasting text from websites into Google Docs. Because, for some reason, Google Docs loves formatting. It loves it. If you copy something from Bloomberg, oh boy, does it want to put that in a serif font for you? Like it just wants to, oh boy, can I keep the formatting from Bloomberg? Let me try my best. And I don't want that. I just want to paste it in like regular plain text. And the easiest way that I found to do this before was just to, I would copy the text and then I would open Raycast and just you just use the keyboard shortcut, which I think I used as Command-Shift-C, and then just press Enter, and it would just paste what I wanted because it would be the first entry. And so I liked that a lot. It was just an easy way to be able to strip the formatting out of something, put it into Google Docs. This is mostly for the upgrade show notes, right? Because I'm copying things from Bloomberg and pasting them in to our notes to read them, and it was just a nightmare. Pastebot has, I would say, more features than you would expect for a clipboard manager in general. This app does a lot of stuff. One of the things that I really like is you can take any text, you can manipulate it in some way, in many ways, but you can also add specific key bindings to specific manipulations of text. So I now have a global shortcut to just straight up paste any text into any document, and in the middle, it's going to turn that text to plain text. So now I can just copy something and hit Command-Shift-V, and it will just paste that text into plain text anywhere. This is very good. I like this a lot. So this is just like one of the text kind of manipulation things that it does, and then you can set a command to it. You can also bring up the Pastebot menu and go through any of these manipulations, we'll say, that it might do to text that you might want. And it will show you in UI like what the text will look like when it's done. It's like something like you can take text smileys and turn them into emoji, right? So if I don't know who this person is that wants emoji but doesn't use emoji, and wants to do like colon, close parentheses, and then turn that into a smiley emoji, but it will do that for you if you want that. So that one's great. And then there's also a second thing, which you can save your snippets into collections, so like a paste bin. And I have a bunch of things. So in Widgetsmith, we have a thing called the Inspo tab, which is like a things you can do in Widgetsmith. It's like a social media feed inside of the app.
It's a blog. You can say it's a blog.
No, you think it's a blog, and I think it's a social media feed. This causes a lot of conversation between the two of us. It's not a blog. It is a social media feed inside of the app. And it's written in Markdown, but we also use some HTML. And so I just have a bunch of HTML snippets that I now save in a paste bin, so I can easily access them without needing to search too much for them. It's very good. So I need to dig into Pastebot more because there's like a bunch of rules and commands that you can do. There's like a lot of stuff in this app, but I'm very intrigued by it. It's a thing that I didn't think I would necessarily want to change in my life, but I like the way that they've implemented it. I don't know if either of you have played with it at all.
I have. I've been trying Spotlight again. I tried it when Tahoe first came out and sort of bounced off of it, but I'm trying it again because in Golden Gate, it's tied in with Siri. I should understand this better. But the clipboard manager in Siri I found kind of frustrating, that you have to like invoke it and then you have to change modes within Spotlight. It's a bit clunky. And so like you, I saw Pastebot 3, people were excited. And so I'm trying it now and I really like it. I like that it's sort of separate from the launcher in a way that I was using Alfred before for both things. There are some things in here that I wish were better. When you pull up the palette, which I have as Command-Shift-V, it's relatively useful, but like I mentioned to Paul on Mastodon today, is like one thing I really like about Alfred and some of the others is if you have like code for a color, it gives you a little swatch showing you the color. One thing that is nice that some of the others don't do, though, is it shows you not only the format of what it is, so like, is it text, is it a PDF, but the application where it came from.
Yeah.
Which is surprisingly useful if you're trying to find something, that was a while back. It's like, I know I was doing this in, MimeStream, but where is it? And the search is pretty good on the little palette that comes up. So I'm liking it. I think it's going to probably stick around for me if I stick in Spotlight, but I think there are some things that some niceties that some other clipboard managers have that they should look at.
I should say that the clipboard manager in Spotlight also shows the app that it comes from.
Okay.
Which is nice. Launchbar doesn't do it. But it does. It shows like a little icon next to it. And it's like, if it's from Safari, there's a Safari icon. And
yeah,
I had like a Dropbox link and it's got a Dropbox icon next to it, which is kind of nice. And yeah, even a text thing, and it's got like a BB Edit text icon with a Slack badge on it. So there's a lot of information there. I'm not quite sure how you interpret all of that, but it is there. For me, I've never used Pastebot, and I wonder if I should. The challenge that I've got is that a lot of what it does, I've replicated elsewhere. Like I have a Keyboard Maestro macro that I use when I'm doing, especially design in California research. It's very much like Myke's Bloomberg paste, where it's like it takes it to, it wraps it, because a lot of stuff, especially from like PDFs of books that I want to quote, they come in with line breaks. And so I have a Pastebot, or not Pastebot, a Keyboard Maestro where I type like semicolon wrap, and it wraps the text on the clipboard and pastes it in.
They specifically have one for doing trim white space, so remove leading and trailing spaces and tabs from each line, leaving the text between them untouched. Like this is like one of the little writing manipulations they have.
Yeah, I think so. I think part of it is going back to what we were talking about with the networking, which is like one of the challenges is, do I rip up the thing that I've got set up that works fine to do something that does the same thing, but might be a better tool for it, that I'm going to have to set up and learn and all of that. And I think that's what's kept me out of it, is I have so many automation tools now that like you see another one and you're like, yeah, but I already automated that with a completely different pathway.
Yes.
Even though this might be because Keyboard Maestro is a general purpose automation tool where Pastebot is really targeted on this. So I'll think about it, because like I know so many people who rave about it, and I think it probably would be a more appropriate set of tools, even though I could replicate everything it does in Keyboard Maestro or somewhere else somehow. Keyboard Maestro is really good for this. This is a thing with a little key binding. And I mean, I've got it ending up being an expansion. So instead of it being Command Shift Control whatever, it's literally, semicolon wrap, and it just backspaces and then puts it in there, which is really nice. I also wonder if I'm having a little bit of the clean shot response here, which is everybody loves clean shot. Myke talks about it all the time.
All the time.
And my response is always like, yeah, but I'm happy with the system screenshot utility, which does almost everything, does everything I need. And every time I say that, I get like 5 messages that say, but did you know that it does this? And did you know that it does this? It's like, well, okay, but I'm fine. And so I wonder if that's part of it too, is like, I'm sure it's a nice utility, but if my needs are being served, I'm not sure I need to go through the process of, replacing. It's hard to replace something with something else that does the same thing.
Yes.
Even if your workflow has evolved where you're avoiding, here's the catch. If you're avoiding something, or you just don't do something because your tool doesn't do it, you're actually cutting yourself off from having some improvement. But in the moment, you don't think about that, right? You're just thinking about a one-to-one replacement and saying, why should I bother? So you really do need to have that moment where you think, actually, this could open up new pathways for me. And Pastebot, honestly, Myke, hearing you talk about it, it makes me feel a little more like I actually should explore that, because there's probably more possibilities that I could do in terms of how I process stuff on my clipboard than I'm currently doing.
They have like the pre-built kind of like things that you can do are really good, but then you also can kind of build your own filters that do a bunch of things. And like they have like they kind of give you a manager to build them, but it's like, you can do custom find and replace, HTML stuff, base 64 encode. Like, there's like a lot of things you can do, which you would probably enjoy. But the even just like the standard things that are built in, like another one, convert to title case. So now I can select some text, copy it, and then just hit a keyboard command, and it will convert that text to title case for me. But like I was feeling in the same kind of thing. If you was like, what is this going to do for me? But it was the sense of like, it's not just me bringing up the clipboard manager and doing things with the text, that just if there's something on my clipboard, I can now just hit a specific keyboard command and it will just do the thing that I want it to do, rather than me ever having to bring up the UI in the middle of it all. That was the thing that was like, oh, that's really good, because now I can just save a couple of unnecessary keyboard commands that I was doing to be able to just like do this pasting the way that I wanted. It will just do it for me. So I like that. The business model that they've got I find really interesting. So you can either subscribe in the App Store. It's an annual subscription. It's $24.99 a year or $2.99 a month. Or you can buy it from them directly for $39. And that is 1 year of updates. And then you pay $20 or $19, I should say, for every other set of updates you want over a year. So it's like they're like, well, what if we do both of the systems? And like, I remember a time when you weren't allowed to do this kind of thing, but I just think that time is gone now. But I find it really interesting that they're kind of like, pick your poison. Do you want the old way or the new way? We're just going to offer you both of them. Have fun. And so I thought that was really interesting.
It's time for some helpful consumer advice from the Connected program. We got a couple things we're going to talk through. The first one is weather stations. We've been talking about this on the show a little bit. I've always wanted one, but have never really gotten there. But Jason, what should I get?
Well, so I have had a weather station in my backyard for almost 22 years.
Yes.
I'm on my second, which is pretty amazing that this is a piece of tech hardware and I've only had 2 in 22 years. I mean, I'm going to give you, the spoiler alert is I'm going to give you the boring answer, which is actually, I think the wire cutter pick, which I'll get to in a minute, is probably the right one for you. So you gave me some specifics, like you've got Wi-Fi that's available. So wherever you put this, it's going to be able to see your Wi-Fi network, which is good because you do need a wireless network. There are sort of 2 ways that these devices tend to handle it, which is either they're on Wi-Fi or they do a radio transmitter, and then you've got a receiver in the house that's, which is what I have for mine, is there's a receiver in the house that's on the on my Ethernet network.
Okay.
And so they talk over a radio frequency, not on Wi-Fi. And then that device is the one that logs the data and talks to the cloud and all of those things. And has an API so I can query it, and it talks to my weather app on my Mac and all of that. But a lot of them just have Wi-Fi now. Power, you said, might be tricky. The beauty of the weather station is generally, and the one I'm going to recommend has a battery option it's an option, but you should put a battery in it. They have solar panels and a capacitor and a backup battery. And this is how I have run my weather station for 21 plus years, is it's never been connected to power.
Perfect.
So you make sure that it's got solar, it's got a solar panel on it, put in a battery backup, and then it's got a capacitor. So the idea there is the solar drinks in enough and it's low enough power that it'll get through the night and then come back. But the battery is nice to have for a cloudy day and in the winter and all of that. And that worked like a charm for me and continues to now. So you don't have to deal with power. which, as you might expect for a weather station, is good because these are often in weird places that are remote. That's one of the reasons why a lot of them have RF with a receiver, is that you can get more distance out of RF than you can just standard Wi-Fi.
I also feel like if your weather station can't be powered by solar, then nothing you own could ever be powered by solar.
I suppose.
I feel like just at a simple level, if the thing that you put outside to track the weather doesn't get the sun, you're out of luck.
If ever there was a product that should be solar powered, it's this. But yeah, they're often on like a remote hillside or somewhere. Mine is I've got a metal pole attached to the side of my house that it's on. But you could put this in your backyard, you know, wherever. And the Wirecutter Pick is the ambient weather WS2000. The good news, I looked up the tech specs of it. Like, you want to have the sensors that you want. I think the ambient weather comes with, it's going to tell you how much precipitation you got. It's going to tell you the temperature and the humidity. I think it's expandable. So if you had other sensors you wanted to add, that if there's something that it doesn't measure, you could do that. They all do cloud connecting now. So it'll go to Weather Underground and some other sites like that. They have their own ambient weather thing that you can log into and see the data. And I believe all of these things now have like API support either directly to the device or to their cloud service or to another cloud service that you're uploading data to. So if you wanted to have a custom front end somewhere in Home Assistant or on a web page or whatever, you could do that too. Like mine, and it's not actually the weather station, it's the little receiver that's in the house. Like there's a URL that gives me like a JSON response with all the current weather data in it. Then I can just parse that. And that's very easy to do. And there are plugins for Homebridge and Home Assistant that will also do that. And so generally these days, back when I got my first weather station, the receiver was a PC serial connection. So you had to get a PC serial to USB adapter.
Yes.
And I had to use this incredibly weird piece of software. Things are a lot friendlier now, which is really nice. That was a Davis Vantage, which was a much more like a pro weather station. But now they discovered, hey, regular people like weather station stuff too. And they all have like apps now too, where you can put their app. I'm sure Ambient has an app that you could put on your phone that would just be like your own personal weather station, but you can integrate it elsewhere. All that stuff is so much better. And then it's just a matter of what you want to do with it. And I have a whole system that I had set up, but it's because my system was much more complex in the old days, like so much we've been talking about. If I were to set it up today, I'd probably keep it a lot simpler, but instead it's this thing that's evolved over, 20 years. So yeah, I think you could read the Wirecutter article. There's a different weather station that's like easier to set up, but I'm not worried about you being technically flummoxed by a weird weather station. I think you got it. I think you're going to defeat it. And the keys are just make sure that it's solar powered, because you don't want to deal with power issues.
Yeah.
And make sure that it is measuring all the stuff you want to have measured, and that it will do proper like connections so that you can get at that data from somewhere. That's it.
Cool. All right. I'm going to make some bookmarks because I want to do this. And honestly, the ambient weather one looks great. So
yeah, it looks a lot like mine. I have a Vantage View, which they also reviewed and they didn't like because they didn't think it was as accurate, which, I mean, whatever. The Davis Vantages are like, they were the ones that were the standard forever until these other companies have gotten into the mix now. But, it's very industrial and unfriendly in a lot of ways because it's a company that's come from the professional side, right? Whereas some other companies that have come from the consumer side have sort of stepped up their game.
Right.
And that makes me reluctant to ever recommend something from the other side because it's really kind of unfriendly and probably overpriced. But I bought another, when my Davis Vantage Pro died, I bought another Davis Vantage largely because I felt like they had built a piece of hardware, computer hardware, that I kept outside for about 18 years, and it didn't die for 18 years. And I thought, okay, you're going to get my money as a thank you for making something that lasted so long. But for other people, I think the ambient sounds like a pretty solid. I haven't used it, but it looks solid. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna check this out, and I totally get like the loyalty thing. I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me. I'm very much the same way.
I mean, if that one, don't get me wrong, if this one broke in like 2 years, I'd be furious. But but I feel like I owed them. But you got to make this stuff's pretty rugged because it, like Myke was saying about if there's anything that's going to be solar powered, yeah, if there's anything that's going to be rugged, it's going to be a thing that you're just going to leave outside forever.
Right.
And they are generally pretty rugged. The only warning I'll give you is every so often you got to check the little rain gauge to make sure that there isn't like a spider web on it or some stuff from a tree hasn't fallen on it. Spiders love these things. So taking a little rag and wiping out the spider webs and stuff is a thing.
That's a reason not to get one.
So
Didn't you write the Wirecutter article for weather stations once?
No.
What did you do?
I wrote a roundup in Macworld in 2004.
What did you do for Wirecutter then? I know you did something. Was it routers?
No, I did smart thermostats.
Smart thermostats.
That's
in
right.
the early days when there were only like 3 of them.
Inside weather, if you think about
Inside weather. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my specialty.
This episode of Connected is brought to you by Backblaze. iCloud, Time Machine, and Backblaze. 3 layers, each one doing something different. iCloud is for sync. You get your files and photos across all your Apple devices, accessible wherever you are on any screen. And Time Machine backs up your Mac locally so you can restore quickly without needing an internet connection. But Backblaze is the 3rd layer, an important layer, getting your data off-site. Every version of your Mac, including external hard drives, going back a full year. There's no storage limits and no file type restrictions. So if you have a hardware failure or something happens to your home, your office, you want that data elsewhere, and that's where Backblaze comes in. So if you need to track down a file or get an earlier version of a document you need to revisit, Backblaze has it. And if you need to do a full restore, they've got you covered there as well. Connected listeners get 20% off. Start your free 15-day trial with no credit card required. Go to backblaze.com/connected with the code connected20. That's backblaze.com/connected and use the code connected20 to get 20% off. My thanks to Backblaze for their support of this show and all of Relay.
While we're talking about stuff to buy, I want to sanity check something with you both. So, I've been travailing my backup strategies over the course of the last few months on the show. And something else that I want to do now is to have proper network attached storage because design in California creates many gigabytes. Many gigabytes.
It's true.
And I also want to keep all of these files in a way that I don't always. Like most podcast editing files, I just get rid of them after a certain period of time. I keep the Cortex episodes. They're in Dropbox, taking up a lot of space. But this show's going to take up a huge amount very quickly. And I don't want to have to deal with... Basically, I was getting pretty close to my Dropbox limit recently. And I was like, well, let me just increase it. And I actually can't. They won't let me increase it. I would have to go on to essentially an enterprise plan, and I'm just not willing to do that. So I did end up finding some files in my Dropbox that realistically I didn't need anymore, so I took them out. But I want to have a network attached storage system for this project.
Yeah.
And I've been looking around and I've been going back to some of the stuff I was thinking about before, because I have this Mac that's always on and I've got files saved on it. And then when I started thinking about that, I'm like, well, the problem is I'm going to need to share things with Jason or Jim at certain points. And do I want to be like doing the management then of like, all right, so now let me upload this to Dropbox and then share the link with this thing? It's like, no. So what I think I've landed on is that Synology is right for me in this scenario. And let me talk about why I think it might be, and then why I think it isn't, and then maybe you two can tell me if you think I'm on the money or not with this thinking. So something like a Synology is something that I can connect to, I can mount to it when I'm in the studio, but it's a standalone box, like it's just living its own life, right? Like it's not dependent on any particular computer. I like the idea of a product that I can do other things with. Like if I also wanted to have a Plex server in the future, I could do that. It can also, perform its own backups and stuff like that, which I think is an interesting thing, right? It is essentially a computer, so it can do things on its own. Having something that's always connected to the internet, so I can share files with other people and get to them from other devices too, right? So I know I can't remember the name of all this, like Synology Drive or whatever. So I could log into that and grab files over the internet from somewhere else if I wanted to, as well as sharing with other people. I also like the idea of the system being able to have its own redundancy, right? That like I can fill it with drives and have it do in some kind of RAID configuration. The downsides. So my very shallow research, I will say, suggests that these days, to get the best out of a Synology, you should be using their drives, which I know created a lot of controversy.
No. That's just marketing BS from
I know. Okay, so to get the best based on what they're saying, right? Like they say to get all of the features that you might want from a Synology, you should use Synology drives. Now, I understand that the thinking for the reason people are upset about that is partly price. However, in the world we're currently in, Synology drives are essentially priced the same as everybody else's because everybody's drives are so expensive. So that's one thing. But, anyway. And the other thing is, the other downside, which I think I know that two of you would probably say this to me anyway, is this is absolutely going to be harder than to configure and manage than if I just had a big drive connected to my Mac. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the problem is I don't think it solves the main thing that I think I'm going to need, which is a lot of storage of which I can share specific files with other people very easily. So this is the situation that I'm in. I've got a link in the show notes. This is mostly for you two to look at, but I will put it in the notes. The product that I think I'm settling on is the DiskStation DS925 Plus. I did this research like a month ago. I don't remember why this is the one that I settled on, but it is the one that I settled on. And I found a company in the UK that will sell it to me with a bunch of Synology's drives, like 16 terabytes. It's expensive, but it's kind of like what I expect to pay. If I price this up myself on Amazon or whatever with just like Seagate drives or whatever, it's very much in the realm. And I'll say that realm is like £1,300, which is very expensive. But this is the problem. If you want 16 terabytes of storage in the year 2026, you're going to pay for it. And this is it. So what do you guys think about this thinking? And do you think I am anywhere in the ballpark?
I think you are. It is nice just to have a big drive attached to a Mac. It's how I did it for a long time before I moved to a NAS. But the upside is also the downside. Mac OS is the intermediate layer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for your need, and that's fine for a lot of people. It's fine for me for a long, long time. But it does come to a point where you need something that is more tailor-made for things you mentioned. Sharing, RAID, doing its own backups. When I looked at this, I know I'm going to sound like a fanboy because we talked about networking earlier, but like I chose a Ubiquiti NAS because
there it is.
I didn't need or want my NAS to be a computer. Like my NAS is just a bucket of storage on my network. Now it does back up to Backblaze on its own. It does have some of those simple things. I can also share files from it, but it's not like syncing with my Dropbox and hosting Plex and doing those other things. That's what I wanted. Those are the trade-offs that I wanted. I think for you and what you have outlined as your needs, both here and elsewhere, I do think Synology is probably the way to go, even though it's expensive, even though they sort of stepped in it PR-wise with the hard drive thing. I think it being a computer is beneficial in your circumstance as opposed to using Mac OS to do this. I mean, like the thing, like I need to share this folder with some people. Like, I mean, good luck doing that with Mac OS. And I'm sorry, it's just not a server operating system in the way that something like a DiskStation has.
Yeah, I get it. I still use a Mac with a RAID attached as my storage. And I don't have the ability to arbitrarily say, let's just share this. I mean, I haven't felt the need. I could probably look into it, but like I tend to put things in Dropbox if I'm sharing them, and then they just kind of get archived back on the server later. And I actually have my server syncs to my Dropbox, and it keeps everything local. So there's a local copy, and then it can LAN sync to the other devices. Here's my concern for Myke. And I'm not saying no to this. I'm saying here's my worry. Is I think you get frustrated at things that are I'm trying to be nice here because
no, say it because I agree with you. Just say it.
Anytime I ever try to explain something to you that involves the terminal or a Perl script or a Python script or a Unix command, you're like, no, get it away.
It's true.
The problem is you are with Synology, you are welcoming a Linux server basically into your life where a lot of it is web UI, which is great.
Like that.
But it's like the web, the UI is the great part because the other part is, why is this working? It's like, well, maybe you have to open, I don't know, a terminal window. Whereas if you have a Mac attached to a RAID, and that, you can do that. I use soft RAID, and I have a 4-drive array, and it's great. And redundant, so like if one of the drives dies, all the data's still there. Just put in another drive, and it syncs it all up. It's a Mac, which means that the downside is, to Steven's point, it's not a server OS. There is usually software that can do the things you want, but you have to do them. The upside is everything you do to interact with that thing is in the context of the Mac and Mac OS and Mac OS software, which is more comfortable. Honestly, that's it. And that when I advise anybody about this, that's what I say is something like Synology, they've tried to make it very easy to use, but you are welcoming a Unix system essentially into your life that is tried to be friendly like with web pages and things like that. You can probably do it. But my fear is you're going to hit something and you're going to be like, oh no, and have lots of sadness and regrets. The Mac is going to be less capable, but more recognizable and understandable to you. So that's your decision.
I think the Synology has come a pretty long way. I mean, there may be things you need to do that are nerdy, but it has been designed, I think, for more and more people to use, and it has a really good community around it. So like if you do run into something weird, there's lots of people using them. You can just call Casey because he has 6 of them.
Sure.
One thing Jason said sprung an idea in my head is depending on how you have your network set up and how you have this set up, and you can do this with a Mac, but because the Synology basically has like this like web front end thing, you can access it from anywhere. So if you're at home and someone needs something, you don't have to deal with, with Tailscale and stuff, it's easier than ever to Mac screen share across the internet, but
yeah,
I just use screens, but yeah.
So that is it. Maybe it's not a benefit, but it's also there on the Synology, that sort of remote access stuff.
Don't get me wrong. I think a Synology workstation to solve the problem that Myke has is probably the right solution, or Ubiquity or whatever, but I think this is the right solution here, except that you have to take on the idea that it is less familiar and could be frustrating. But I haven't used a server like this in a while. I'm sure that it's pretty good. I'm sure they've done a lot of work to make the web interface very full-featured and friendly and not requiring people to do scary stuff. even though you can do scary stuff. And the danger in both of these platforms, by the way, and it's not one or the other, is there's some stuff that you're going to want to do and they're going to be like, yeah, you could totally do that. Now open up a terminal window and install this thing. And like both, because I have that on the Mac too. I'm running some stuff on the Mac that is like not friendly and not Mac software to do stuff. And that's the danger, is you end up in this scenario where you're like, oh, I'm tempted to do this thing. And then you fall down a Unix hole and it's very bad. But I'm sure that at the top level, the functionality of the NAS is going to be better for you. It's going to have built in most of or all of what you want to do. I'm just a little worried about Myke reacting badly to some of the stuff that it does, because it will feel so foreign.
Yeah.
So you got to be strong, and you got to be committed if you do this. You just got to go in with your eyes open.
Your instinct is absolutely correct. I mean, this instinct is something that is born from exactly what you mentioned. That you say to me, do this, and I say, I don't want to do this. Can you do it? And then you do it for me. Like even down to like Isotope, right? Like you're like, oh, I got to isotope that file. I'm like, oh yeah, you should do it. So, and then you do it for me.
To be fair, this week we had an exchange where I said we need to make the wallpapers for Design in California, and Mike's response was, yeah, one of us could do it. And I said, well, it's not going to be me,
which is fine. We each have our desires and strengths and weaknesses. Someone's going to do and someone's not. Here's the thing. My ideal scenario is that it's just a big drive connected to a Mac, because I understand how to use that. But the problem is I don't then have like a good way to easily, I want to be able to just share the file without moving it. I don't want to move it. But then the question is, how often am I actually going to need to do that? This is the thing that I don't know. Maybe I don't need to do it that much, and so it's actually not that much of a problem.
Right. If you work like Jason does, like Dropbox is sort of the current stuff, and then when
which
it's
is
done,
what it's going to be anyway.
Right. And when it's done, it just gets archived off to your local storage. And I mean, what's the worst case scenario, right? So say that you are, you've archived something and suddenly somebody needs it. Well, you can remote into that Mac, and you have Dropbox running on it, and you have the storage attached, and you just drag it back into Dropbox, right? Like, that's not the end of the world.
No, it's not. And I already do it. I spent a lot of time getting a Mac just like that. It sits over there, right? Like, and so maybe the best thing to do is that I just get an enclosure, buy a bunch of drives, invest in some software to like do RAID on it and stuff, and then just run it that way.
Yeah.
Because you're right. Like it is going to be an easier thing for me to understand. And I will have less frustration, I think, if it is just something that is connected to a Mac, which has the Dropbox account on it that I would be pulling the stuff from anyway. And I have Tailscale set up now, which is, so I would not have done this before Tailscale, because I could not remote into the studio before Tailscale. I don't know enough about what it does differently, but it was just a thing that would not work with any system that I tried. But Tailscale has made that work for me. And so like I feel confident that, because I've done it a bunch of times already, like I can just go in and like do something on the Mac that sits here on this network now all the time.
Yeah.
So maybe, well then, okay, what company should I be looking at for just a good drive enclosure to put a bunch of drives in?
Mine's from OWC,
okay,
which is like macsales.com, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they sell them with drives or without. You can provide your own drives or not. And they also own SoftRaid. So it comes with a version of SoftRaid that works with that enclosure. And they're all like Thunderbolt enclosures, and they make them. At this point, I dream on having an SSD RAID at some point, but that's even more expensive.
You could buy a car.
So you basically you put in. So I've got like four spinning discs in there, and I will say the other issue with anything in your life that is a bunch of spinning discs is kind of noisy.
Yeah.
So
the studio is big enough.
Your studio is enormous, so I just put it far away from you.
Yeah, we'll put it on the desk that you sat at. So
okay,
that's far enough away from me.
Maybe.
Yeah, Jason, how is SoftRaid been for you? I've used hardware RAID for so long for this stuff. Back in the day, software RAID was like really frowned upon and kind of sketchy, but you've been running it for a long time. How has your experience been?
Yeah, rock solid, honestly. Okay. Since I've been, so I had a Drobo for a long time, and then it died, and I basically said never again, and bought this RAID instead.
Yeah, and now Drobo's gone,
and they're gone, long gone. But you can have the same thing. I have RAID 5, which means that there's data on every bit of data you have is redundant. It's on 2 disks. So that's the thing where if one disk just completely dies, you've lost no data. You pull that disk out, you put a new disk in, it rebuilds recopies everything, but it's always the data is secure, which is awesome. And you can set that up fairly easily in SoftRAID. And then it just kind of runs. There's software updates you run every now and then. I think the SoftRAID driver is actually in Mac OS. Because it has to be, it's like a low level kind of kernel thing. And I think Apple just includes it, rides along with the OS. So sometimes there'll be a software update and the OS update will update the SoftRAID driver, which is kind of wild. But it's solid, and it will throw an error. That's another nice thing about it is like I got at one point, I've only had this one time since I've been using SoftRAID. I had a drive where it said, this drive is it's like the yellow warning light. It's like this drive is going to fail, but it has not yet failed. And I got a notification and stepped through the steps of pulling that drive, putting in the new drive. It got back up to speed and I was back up and running. So mine are, right now, I have 2 12 terabyte disks and 2 8 terabyte disks in my RAID, which nets out to, I've got a Time Machine partition that's 4 terabytes and a storage partition that's 24 terabytes. That's where I am right now.
Yeah. I would definitely do 4 drives. I would not do 2. 2, your option is just mirroring. I mean, you could stripe them, but you don't have any backup, or you don't have any.
I'm a big proponent of RAID 5. I mean, it's basically
that's how mine's set up.
You want a system where if there's literally these are spinning disks, hardware failure, you're fine.
Yep. Absolutely. And so, that does, again, increase the price. But you were looking at a 4 drive.
I was looking at
Synology, anyways.
Synology, yeah.
Yeah, I think I think a Synology would be fine, but I do think I've changed my mind a little bit in talking through this. If you're pretty confident, like the Dropbox is the active stuff, and you move this stuff off, then you do sort of have 2 sources, and if you move something back to Dropbox, you kind of have just like make a mental note of what's where. But again, how often is that going to be the case?
I mean, most likely if I'm going to move something, I'm just going to send someone a zip file. Like I'm going to put a zip file in Dropbox or whatever. Like it's not,
I think Tailscale has a file transfer something too that you may be able to use, where you basically tell Tailscale that I'm going to use this, and then somebody can get it from you. I don't know. I'm sure that this is the thing is I'm sure there's a Mac solution to the thing you're worried about, which is, can I just share an arbitrary file off of my server with somebody at any point? I'm sure there is a Mac solution for that. It's just that, again, this is the trade-off, is you will have to find that Mac solution and install it, but it'll be in a Mac interface, which you're familiar with. I'm sure Synology just does it out of the box. It will just be in an unfamiliar. Honestly, this is a vibes question a little bit. It's like, do you want to say, I'm going to do it? I'm going to go all in on Synology and I'm going to learn this stuff and I'm going to get over my anxiety and I'm going to do it? Or are you like, I got bigger fish to fry. I'm going to go with what's comfortable to me. Because I think in the end, it's about what's going to be the choice that you're most comfortable with / willing to invest emotional resources in.
Yeah, no, I think now I just need to find what enclosure to buy and then just start from there again.
Yeah.
We're back to the beginning.
Yeah. OWC has, they call it the Thunder Bay 4 drives. It's Thunderbolt. You definitely want Thunderbolt for this. I mean, these drives are not going to be fast. Don't limit it.
It's Thunderbolt 3. What do we think about that?
That's fine.
That's what I have.
It's fine.
Okay.
I have an OWC Thunder Bay 4, and it's a Canada reference. Thunder Bay is a city in Canada, and that's what I have with like I said the 4 discs, 12, 12, 8, 8 for me, because I think I stocked mine originally when there were only 8s available. And then a couple of them died, and I replaced them with 12s because why not?
Yeah, and you're starting out looking at their thing. You can bring your own drives, or you can get them with what they call enterprise hard drive models. I don't know what that is. If you do buy your own drives, you want something that is designed for use in a NAS. Some drives, they're designed slightly differently with the reality that they're running side by side, right? And there's going to be noise and vibration and heat around them. And so I use WD Reds. That's what's in mine. And I've had very good luck with them over the years. I have 7 8 terabyte in WD Reds in my RAID. Ooh. And it's been great. I bought those several years ago when it was far less expensive.
Yes, same.
I would not fill all 7 drive bays in my RAID now if I was starting today.
According to SoftRAID, I have 3 of my drives have been used for about 55,000 hours, and then 1 for 8,000 hours. That's the one that got replaced.
Yeah,
but they're still going.
What did you Western Digital Reds? You said?
Yeah, that's what I'm using.
Yeah,
a 4 terabyte. 4 terabyte Western Digital Red is £200 right now.
Yeah, that's rough,
and that's too small.
Yeah, because with RAID 5, so you have 4 drives. Say they're each, what do you say, 2 terabytes?
I said 4. 4 terabytes.
So you're going to lose the capacity of 2 of them to the internal mirror, and you're going to lose a little bit of the capacity of the other 2 due to overhead. And so with 4 terabyte drives, you may come out with something like, I don't know, like 7 terabytes of storage. No, I've messed that up. Something like that.
So I probably want to start with 6 terabyte drives then, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's a calculator online. 4 RAID capacity calculator. Look at this. RAID 5, 4 terabyte, 4 terabyte, 4 terabyte, 4 terabyte. You would end up with 12 terabytes of capacity with RAID 5 with 4 terabyte drives.
Oh, I think that's fine. Right? Yeah, that's fine.
If you went to 6, I mean, it'll be a big jump up.
Yeah, but they're like £300 each.
Yeah, 6 is 18 terabytes. And again, you can.
I'm looking on the Amazon store right now, and the 6 terabyte Western Digital Reds are right now. They're on sale, believe it or not. So they're only like $319 each, and the 4 is $295. In which case, I would totally get the 6s.
Yeah, me too.
Because they're not that much more expensive, but it depends on where you're buying and if there's value there.
Oh yeah, no, I can see it. Actually, it's similar. I'm looking at a different site. I don't know what's wrong with these 6 terabyte Reds. They're like it's 260 for 4 or 280 for 6.
Yeah, and I did misspeak. RAID 5, you only lose 1 of the drives to redundancy. That's why my math was wrong.
Yeah. Also, I know drives are expensive. My recommendation is if you're going to do a 4-disc array, buy 5 discs.
Yes, you want a cold spare.
You want one that you can stick in if you have a problem.
Okay. I knew this was going to be an expensive project.
It is.
Yeah.
And,
well, the cheap version is, I was looking around and I was like, how many USB SSDs that are like 1 terabyte do I have laying around? And could they all get together?
This brand, like the company that I'm looking at right now, they will only let me buy 4. It's a limit of 4 per customer.
Shortages.
You could also look. The Seagate drive, I believe, is the Iron Wolf. So there are other options. I've had good luck with WD Reds. I just sort of picked one because they're all going to fail eventually, right? That's the truth of this. And so
I believe my drives are even distributed. I think I have Iron Wolves and WD Reds.
Nice.
in mine.
Oh,
it's
the Seagate
they're the
Iron
same.
Wolves are cheaper than
Yeah, and there you go.
quite a bit cheaper actually.
The warranty may be shorter. That may be part of it, but yeah,
warranty schmarranty.
That's right. Live on the edge with a RAID protecting your data.
Wow. Okay, I just looked. The last drive I bought was an Iron Wolf 12 when I had that failure. Currently, it's $429 for that.
Blaze it.
I paid $224.
Jeez.
In 2025. In less than actually, oh my God, a year ago today, in fact, I bought that drive.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah. Well, that's easy to calculate how much price has changed in a year there.
The Seagate Iron Wolf drive that I just mentioned is one per customer.
Where are you looking?
There's a company called Scan in the UK. They're really good for
double.
Just
look at
Amazon.
Thanks, AI.
I'm trying to support.
Bezos needs your money.
That's true. In case I don't know. Maybe he's got another wedding he's got to do sometime. I don't know.
Wow.
You never know.
This episode of Connected is brought to you by Shipathon, the global hackathon for builders launching real apps to real stores, competing for big prizes, and showing the world that they shipped. This is all brought to you by Revenue Cat, which is an awesome platform for developers to track metrics across a bunch of different aspects of their apps. So if you have an idea of something you keep meaning to build someday, you keep knocking it down your to-do list, well, someday just got a deadline. Shipathon is back, the world's biggest mobile hackathon. It's simple. Launch a brand new app between August 1st and September 30th and compete for over $1 million in prizes. Plus, you're going to get exclusive perks from partners like OneSignal, AdMob, and more. You'll unlock 25 sponsored perks automatically as your app moves from registration to real revenue. And there's $700,000 in cash prizes. Win, and your app could land a billboard in Times Square, forever enshrining it in app development glory. So join at shipathon.com or click the link in the show notes. That's SHIPATON.com, shipathon.com. Our thanks to Revenue Cat for their support of the show and all of Relay. It is now time, gentlemen, for some Ask Upgrade questions.
Oh, what?
I went into your forum and took some questions.
What? No, Stephen, I need those.
No.
Okay.
I just took
Did
three.
You
I just took three.
Them?
I just took three.
Okay.
Edward asks, do you think that the Apple Upgrade program will level out Apple's profits throughout the year?
No.
No. The boring answer is that I imagine the way that they will book the revenue,
yes,
because it's a lease and there's Klarna, is that they'll book the complete value of the phone when they start. And then that's my guess is that it will, and I doubt it's US only, and only a certain percentage of people are going to do it for any product. And I just can't see that it'll make that much of a difference. If the grand vision that Mark Gurman laid out in his report about this, where he's like, Apple could become the biggest subscription company in the world. It's like, yeah, maybe eventually everything just becomes services revenue, but I think it's a long way before we like take all of Apple's revenue for a year, divide it by 4, and pop it into each quarter. I think that's not very likely.
I don't think they want that. I don't think it benefits them to have, like, let's imagine they could get into a world where they completely leveled out the revenue. Like, I just don't think they would want that. I think they like the spikes, right? Like, it's fun to have these big blowouts. But also, yeah, I just agree with Jason. I also don't. So if this thing became really popular and they didn't book the revenue like that, then their revenue will fall off a cliff, right? Mm-hmm. Like, which they also wouldn't want to set up that way. Like, if everybody in America buys their iPhone on the upgrade program, they would have terrible results. And I don't think that they would want to position it like that. But I also think whilst this is an interesting thing that they can offer, I don't think it's going to be massively popular because people buy their phones with their carriers. Like, that's how they do it. and they're just going to keep doing that. But the people that use the upgrade program, I actually think this is a product that is better for Mac and iPad sales than it is for iPhone sales. For just, they are much more expensive things that people buy less frequently, and so the idea of just spreading that cost out over a long period of time is maybe a bit more. It makes it feel nicer, but yeah, I tell you, I was so happy to be away and not have to talk about this in any detail over the last week.
Yeah. Lucky.
To me,
Sometimes you're lucky.
Could not be more boring of a topic, really.
And Stephen, thanks for making us feel so at home here with all these elements from Upgrade.
The Discord is like, you know what? Stephen doesn't know how to do a show. Stephen wanted to be on Upgrade.
It's okay. It's okay. You can do whatever you want. You know why? Because it's summer of fun.
Summer of fun.
See, there's another one for you.
Yeah.
All the hits. We're playing all the hits.
Mm-hmm. Money.
Close.
It's awful.
Close. He nearly got there.
Hey, what are the words to that song? Stephen says, money, something, whatever.
Someone has some of it. Something like that.
Bezos. Another Jason asks, last year I put off buying a new phone in part because of the rumors of the folding phone. While I'm still interested in that, I've become more intrigued by the iPhone Air, even with the battery and camera compromises. I haven't heard any rumors about a new Air. Is that just because all the fold takes all the air out of the room? Or is the iPhone Air unlikely to get a refresh?
It's time for rumor roundup, Myke.
There'll be one. There is going to be one, but it's going to be next year, right? So there's
there have been rumors about a new iPhone Air, potentially with a second camera, and new system on a chip would make it more efficient. Personally, this is like just as someone who's using an iPhone Air, I really like it. I would be okay with a little bit better battery life and less heat if it didn't have the Pro chip in it next year. If the Pro chip next year can do all the Apple Intelligence stuff, maybe that's also a way to, I don't know. People may view that as a downgrade, but the Air, I think, is going to be in the spring. And so for me, that leaves me in an interesting place because I really like the iPhone Air. I will have the foldable phone because I'm going to need it for my work. But if I don't
you can just say you want it. Like, it's okay to say you want it.
I mean, look, got to talk about it. Got to run apps on it.
Yeah.
It's a business expense if I keep talking about it this way. But if I don't want to use it as my carry phone, I'm going to stay on the iPhone Air, I think, and then just upgrade it in the spring. Like, it is an interesting dilemma. And there's always going to be, I mean, for the regular phone, I don't think it matters as much because people are on longer buying cycles. And I think there'll be some people who'll be like, oh, why is there not an iPhone 18? It's like, well, just wait to the spring. Like, people will, I think, eventually get word of that. But yeah, the Air is going to be also in the spring. It'll get updated. I don't think they're going to get rid of it after 1 year. Is there an iPhone Air 3? I don't know, but I think there will be a 2.
The Air 2 rumors currently suggest more battery life and a second camera. So
there you go.
They're gonna if they do that, then they're going to quote unquote fix the two biggest problems that were perceived by this product. Right, was battery and a single camera. So if they find a way to make that work by the spring, it's going to be another solid try. But I think it is at this point clear to see that price point for Apple is a desert.
It is.
They have never put a product in there that seemed to make sense because they keep changing it and nothing works. I don't know why they feel they have to keep trying when it probably makes more sense to do what they're about to do, which is just make a more expensive one.
Mm-hmm.
Which we've been saying for a long time, right? Like, the name iPhone Ultra has been we've been kicking that one around for a long time.
Well, it's the name of the foldable.
Well, no, we've been talking about it as just a more extreme, more expensive, more like quirks and features iPhone, right? Like, we've been talking about it since the Apple Watch Ultra came out. It's like, oh, why don't they make an iPhone that's more expensive? Samsung does it, right? Like, they have their ultra line of their phones, and here's just the most expensive one and with the most amount of cameras, and it's going to get all the big features first. So it seems like they're not going to go about that in the way that we had initially thought they might, but now they're going to give us the most phone asterisk ever by it being a foldable phone.
All right, final one.
Mm-hmm.
MR asks, with the Mac Mini getting more expensive, do you think it now makes sense for Apple to offer a Neo variant of it? Something that costs $399 with the internals of a MacBook Neo would be fantastic as a home server machine. And they go on to mention like the Apple Watch SE, the iPhone SE, now that just the 17E. Why not a cheaper Mac Mini?
I mean, the Mac Mini is the Mac Neo.
Yeah.
They just can't make it for cheap enough. Remember, it was really cheap before. Like it was a very good price for a computer, but they just can't make it at that level. I don't think it makes sense to make a desktop Mac less powerful than that one. I think I don't see why you would do that. Just wait and then bring the Mac Mini back down to $499.
Yeah, I agree that. Look, everybody buys laptops. 3/4 of the Macs sold, probably at least, are laptops. Desktops are a niche. The Mac Mini is the low price desktop. That's like Myke said, and I don't think that Apple would see a lot of value. Apple sees a lot of value in making a cheaper laptop because it goes in schools. It goes to people who might be reluctant to spend money on a MacBook Air. It gets them up against a lot of really interesting products like Chromebooks and cheap PC laptops. A cheaper Mac Mini, I just don't like. I think the Mac Mini is what they want to do there. I think that's it.
Yeah.
And especially now that they have the Mac Studio.
I agree. And I think actually the take of it would be a great home server machine is actually not true. If you look at the MacBook Neo, it is limited in I/O. It's got USB-C like that, and then you have like the weird 2.0 thing going on. One of the nice things about the Mac Mini is that there's quite a bit of I/O for a machine so small. You can get it with 10 gigabit Ethernet. You've got a bunch of Thunderbolt ports out the back. Like even when they shrank it down, they kept a lot of the I/O that otherwise could have gone, right? They even got the little USB-C ports on the front, right? The iPhone chipset, at least as it stands today, isn't capable of that. And maybe future ones will be, but not today. And I think I think there's a lot of people. I think, Jason, you said this in a Macworld piece years and years ago, and I think about it all the time. The Mac Mini is like the escape valve for the Mac lineup, and people do weird things with it and stick it in places. And one reason people can do that is it's cheap and it's small, but also because you can hook a bunch of stuff up to it.
Yeah. I think it's more likely that Apple would, if these prices are going to continue for a while, I can see a scenario where Apple would like decontent the Mac Mini a little bit to get it down to a lower price, at least as a base model, and say things like, do we need 3 Thunderbolt ports on the back kind of stuff, where like, are there places that they could save some money? So not creating a Mac Neo, but saying, are there things we could cheap out on a little bit more on the Mac Mini to differentiate it, not just differentiate it from the Mac Studio, but also to get that base price to come back down, because it is really powerful. Like, even I know that it starts at what, $699 now, $799 now, but like it's a whole thing, right? It's got like a load of ports, like you said, Steven, and Thunderbolts. It's fast. And yeah, if you use an iPhone chip, it would have none of that. But I do wonder if they might look at it, the existing Mac Mini, and say, is there a way for us to do a variant that's cheaper? But even then, like, I question, because like they want it to be what it is what they want it to be, which is fully featured, tiny, and a low price for what it is.
I think that does it for this week.
If you would like to send in your own Ask Upgrade questions to be answered on a future episode of the show, just go to upgradefeedback.com and you can send them in.
And Steven will read them.
And Stephen will read them.
Yeah.
Even just to himself.
I just answered them to myself quietly. I should go in there and steal them for blog post ideas. That's what I should do.
There's loads of great stuff.
There's a lot of great stuff. You guys get a lot of feedback. People should leave more connected feedback, you know?
We get a lot of feedback because we have specific places, right?
That's true.
Snell Talk and Ask Upgrade just create a lot of feedback.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus regular follow-up stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you want the notes for the stuff we spoke about, they're in your podcast player. They're also on the web at relay.fm/connected/615. There you can leave us feedback and follow up, not that other show that came along after Connected. Us, the originals. You can leave us feedback. You can also join and get Connected Pro, which is the longer and ad-free version of the show that we do each and every week. Members also get access to the Relay Discord, newsletter, some members-only podcasts. It's a great deal. Go check it out at getconnectedpro.co. If you want more of Myke, you can listen to a bunch of other shows here on Relay and check out his work at Cortex Brand and his blog at theenthusiast.net. If you want to find Jason, you can find him on the Upgrade program here on Relay. And of course, sixcolors.com, everyone's favorite multicolored Apple website. You can find my writing at 512pixels.net. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Squarespace, Backblaze, and RevenueCat. And until next week, guys, say goodbye. Bye.
Cheerio.
Bye, y'all.